The Saints are coming. The Saints are coming. They'll never win the Super Bowl as long as I live, but oh fuck, they did. The Saints, they suck without Drew Brees. The Saints just don't know what to do without Drew Brees, but that's a fact. Boom. This is being recorded on September 25th, 2019. That's why the Drew Brees song came in my head. So anyway, back to my What If series after a little bit of a hiatus. The 1988 New Orleans Saints, 87 New Orleans Saints, excuse me, are the What If. I will talk about the New Orleans Saints. They were an expansion team back in 1967. They actually got their franchise literally on All Saints Day, which is a kind of a holiday for them, the city of New Orleans. That being November 1st, 1966. The Saints actually returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and then they freaking lost the game. The Saints were pathetic. Archie Manning wasted a lot of good years playing for the Saints and all that. The Saints were very lowly. In 1980, they almost went 0-16, but a miraculous win in a snowstorm at Chase Stadium against New York Jets got them their first and only win of the year. And yes, that's the team that blew that big lead to Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers back in 1980. That actually was probably the TSN turning point, if you will, for the Niners franchise. So anyway, the Saints did not have much luck winning a division, having a winning season and all that. 1987 changed all that. They basically had a great defense. They had a breakout running back from British Columbia by the name of Ruben Mays. Oh, no, sorry, North Battleford, Saskatchewan. Disclaimer, the guy who's doing this is Canadian, so basically I'll be talking about Canadian facts. So anyway, I digress. The Saints in 1987 were good and all that. Finally got a winning season. Did not win the division because those pesky Niners did. Now this season, 1987, was the season of the big strike when NFL players just went off there. The owners, not wanting a disaster like 5 years prior, decided to put replacement players. So basically, anyone who wanted to play could play for their NFL team. They've signed prospects and all that. The best team during that time had to be the 1987 Redskins, who won all 3 replacement games, and their replacements beat the Dallas Cowboys, who had several players who crossed the picket line. So anyway, the Saints, shockingly, were close to the Niners, but the Niners were 13-2 that year. Saints would host a 1-game wild card against the Minnesota Vikings. The winner got to face the Niners in the divisional round. Now, keep in mind that in the 1980s, that only 10 teams made the playoffs, 5 from each side. Basically, the 3 division winners and then the top 2 wild cards would face each other in a 1-game winner-take-all to face the number 1 seed in the AFC NFC. So the Saints would host the Minnesota Vikings, hopefully in their first playoff game would give them a win and then try to challenge the San Francisco 49ers. But sadly, they got crushed by Minnesota 44-10. What's even worse is that the 1987 Vikings ended up going to the NFC title game by beating the Niners. Yeah, the 87 Niners could easily have been my what if, but basically I decided to choose the 1990 Niners because they were headed for they were trying for their 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance and lost the NFC title game based on the fact that their opponents scored 5 field goals and the Niners actually scored a touchdown. So anyway, I digress. The New Orleans Saints were bitter about that. The Saints would have a few playoff runs, but their first playoff win would follow in the year 2000, coming off a decent campaign. They were hosting the St. Louis Rams in the wildcard game. The same Rams who almost a year prior got to the Super Bowl and beat Tennessee 1 yard short. So anyway, the Saints shocked everyone by beating the Rams on home turf and in the playoffs. So the Saints had a few playoff runs here and there. Their greatest playoff run was obviously 2009-10 when they went to the Super Bowl. Minnesota and Brett Favre almost got a field goal to win the game in regulation. But unfortunately, Brett Favre had to be so macho by throwing a pass where, in fact, he could have run for 5 to 10 yards, giving Minnesota a chance at a field goal. Even when they miss, at least you try, and didn't give the Saints any momentum. Saints field goal overtime, they win the game. They win the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning, pissing me off in the process. Tracy Porter, God, yeah. The Saints 9 years later in 2019 had a chance to go back to their second Super Bowl, but what happened? Freaking pass interference that was not called. Thankfully, the NFL is making that a rule now, but too little too late for the Saints. I think the Patriots probably would have had a problem with the Saints. Who knows? Maybe New Orleans would have won the Super Bowl at Tom Brady and mine expense. So anyway, the New Orleans Saints have been jinxed a lot. I mean, they come from a city full of voodoo. Their stadium, the Superdome, was built on top of the graveyard, if you will. And that's why their voodoo was terrible. And of course, you know, Hurricane Katrina 2005 ruined the Saints season because they were a traveling group of vagabonds, if you will. The Saints, their first home game after Hurricane Katrina, beat Atlanta on Monday Night Football, and it was amazing, especially the U2 Green Day song, The Saints Are Coming Home. Damn right. So anyway, the Saints, obviously Drew Brees is not a Saint yet, and never will be. Well, not a New Orleans Saint, but a Saint in sainthood. But anyway, so we're going to follow the same path for the Saints. The Saints win. They'll obviously, against the Niners, they'll obviously play Washington, who won the other NFC semifinal because it was the wild card game and the winner faced San Francisco between Minnesota and New Orleans. The other semifinal between Washington and Chicago was untouched, and Washington did win that one. So Saints could play in Washington for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Who knows? All right, so the 12-3 Saints take on the 13-2 San Francisco 49ers. Nice lineups by both teams. Mike Wilson is a wide receiver. Well, I guess it happened. Fuck. 22-7. The Saints, Morgan Anderson kicked a field goal. Dalton Hilliard with a 20-yard run to make it 10-0. Dwight Clark got a 76-yard pass from Montana. And then the rest were just field goals. Morton put up 4 field goals after that. The Niners, I don't know how. They had just as many first downs as the Saints. They had a better third down conversion rating. How did they lose? Especially to Morgan Anderson's 5 field goals. Reuben Mays, the Canadian, 19 times for 63 yards. Dalton Hilliard, 12 for 50. Roger Craig, 58 yards. Dwight Clark, named player of the game for his 2 catches for 85 yards. Jerry Rice, 2 for 23. Mike Jones, wow. Herbert, 18 for 25, 172 with a pick. Joe Montana, 8 for 21, a pick and 2 interceptions. Touchdown, 2 interceptions. 8 completions against the Saints? Are you serious? The only interception for the Niners was Walter, whereas Dave Waymer and Milton Mack for the Saints. Anderson made 5 field goals, 25, 20, 26, 35, 50. Ray Wershing missed a 45-yard field goal. Surprise. I thought it would be Kofor. 22-7 at Candlestick Park. Yikes. So, you know what that means. They obviously have to play the Washington Redskins of 1987. Of Jay Schroeder, Kelvin Bryan, George Rogers. If memory serves me right, they have a running back by the name of Timmy Smith. Kelvin Bryant be damned. Clark and Sanders. So, yeah, Jay Schroeder. Oh, no, wait a minute. It would have been Doug Williams. Of course it would be Doug Williams. Jay Schroeder. Tony Robertson for the heck of it. Yeah, sorry about that. I have to get my bearings down pat. So I could probably guess that the temperature was kind of there. It was kind of windy. Well, we keep going. The Saints win 21-14. Wow. At RFK. Hebert passes to Lonsell Hill for a touchdown. Then Clint Didier gets a touchdown pass. And then at 14-7, Kelvin Bryant was like, yes, Washington's going to win. But Dalton Hilliard, 2-yard run. And then Dwight Beverly ran for a touchdown. Reuben Mays was named player of the game. Why? I don't know. Well, I guess for his 156 yards, although he didn't get a touchdown. Hilliard and Beverly, 10 rushing attempts combined, had those 2 touchdowns. Lonsell Hill, Gary Clark. Timmy Smith was just not there. Doug Williams, 3 picks. Wow. 14 for 27, 195. Otherwise, Hebert, 13 for 21, 152, and a touchdown. The picks were by Atkins, Sutton, and Brett Maxey. Saints picking off guys 5 times in 2 games. Well, yeah, they beat Minnesota. Morgan Anderson missed a 46-yard field goal, but it was like cool. It was like 30 Fahrenheit. So now the Saints play the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. Amazing. So now we got ourselves the Denver Broncos 1987. Sorry about that. Denver Broncos. John Elway. That can't be right. 10-4. They obviously. How did they only have 14 games? Now, the Super Bowl was at Jack Murphy Stadium because I know for a fact. Why does it not say Jack? Oh, Qualcomm. It changed names to Qualcomm. Or was it Jack Murphy Stadium? Yeah, because the San Diego WhatIf I was thinking about was that 1987 team that would have played the Super Bowl at home. So we look at the Super Bowl, we see a victory for the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints would have won the Super Bowl in 1988. Poor Broncos, I feel for them. No, I don't. Ah! All right, so the Saints do score the first touchdown on their first possession when Dalton Hilliard scores on a touchdown. Run, making it 7-0, and that is it. Second quarter, Ruben Mace, the Saskatchewan touchdown, made it 14-0. Denver scores a touchdown when Will Height gets a big 30-yard run to make it 14-7. And that's it until last minute of the second quarter when Hebert gives a pass to Martin for a touchdown. They do get the extra point, 21-7. The Saints march on and get the touchdown. Well, they get an Anderson field goal. And then they score a touchdown when Mays gets a touchdown pass from Hebert. A 7-yard pass touchdown, make it 31-7, and you think the game's over. And you would be right. It was still 31-7 all the way to the fourth quarter with 9:42 left. Natal gets a pass for a touchdown. Denver goes for a 2-point convert, and they fail. So it's 31-13. They kick off to the Saints. Saints don't do anything about it. But they go for march. With 5 minutes left, Clarence Kay gets a touchdown. And then they go for an extra point, which is good, 31-19, 31-20. Denver decides to kick it deep. Bad move. Denver has a chance. But on 4th and 17, Elway gets a pass broken up. Game over. And then Dalton Hilliard decides, okay, let's run up the middle for a touchdown. He does, 37-20. Makes it 38-20. Denver does score a touchdown too little too late by Sammy Winder. Amazing. 38-27, Saints. You see the scoring summary: Hilliard, then Ruben Mays, Will Height, Eric Martin, Anderson, Ruben Mays, 31-7. Natal, Clarence Kay, Dalton Hilliard, and Sammy Winder, 38-27. Ruben Mays, the Canadian, the hero. I actually want to know about his stat. Oh, they won't tell me. 107 yards running. Sammy Winder ran for 91 yards. Not half bad for the Broncos. Mike Jones, Dalton Hilliard, Eric Martin. Ruben Mays got a touchdown catch. That's nice. Elway, as you see on the graphic, let's see here. Yep, 14 for 26, 140, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. John Furcade, I don't know why they put him in there. 3 for 3, 28 yards. Hebert ran 15 for 30, 183, 2 touchdowns, but he got picked 3 times. And they still win the game. Amazing. Tony Lilly, Randy Robbins, and Mike Harden with the interceptions. Dave Waymer, for the second time in 3 games, got one. Anderson made a 31-yard kick. Rich Carlos missed a 50-yard kick. So there you go. The Saints have their happy end for after. And especially with Hurricane Katrina, I would say take it for what it's worth, New Orleans fans.